girls, welcome to this week's STEM lesson. It's a little bit more science than it is STEM, but we are going to be experimenting today with different materials and how quickly or slowly they make something move, or they allow something to move. And for this experiment, you are going to need a completely smooth surface, which is on an angle. So if you are with an adult, ask if they can put it at a 45-degree angle, and that's the kind of angle that we're looking for. What you are going to need with that smooth surface is usually when we're in school we would use the guttering pipes that we've got in school and marbles, but unfortunately I don't have any of those in my house, so I am using an old piece of, we did the kitchen when we first moved in, and we still have this. I found it out of the garage. It's completely smooth, so that's the surface that I'm going to be using. Obviously ask if you're going to be using a material from around the house, don't just go and use, please ask. And you're going to need something that rolls. You might have a ball or a marble or something like that. Mrs. Wilkinson has borrowed Mr. Wilkinson's Lego car thing, crusher thing. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the same thing for all four experiments. So don't change this, because then it makes it a variable, which means it wouldn't be a fair test, because we want the only thing to change to be the materials that we use. Materials I've chosen are, we've got no material, which is just, I'm going to send it straight down here. We've got a towel, because it's a little bit bumpy, a blanket, because that's a little bit bumpier, and then a rug, that is quite bumpy. Okay, so they're the things that I have chosen. And what we're looking for is what material slows down your thing that rolls, so my car, which one slows it down the most, and which one lets it go as fast as possible. Is there any way of making it any faster? And also, is there one that we could think of that could make it go even slower? So that's what we're investigating today. You're going to need something where you can document what you're doing. You're also going to need something that times what you're doing. So I'm going to be timing in seconds, because this isn't going to take a long time to go. Usually when we do this at school and we have the guttering, we do a whole length of the classroom, and it can take a good 5 or 6 seconds to go the whole length of the classroom. It's not going to take that long, so you might want you want a timer that's quite specific, so you want it in seconds, and then something that breaks down in seconds. If your parents have a phone or something, there's a timer on the phone, there's a stopwatch on the phone, which will let them do this. I've got one behind you, the clock on the back, which gives me seconds and goes smaller as well. So that's what I'm going to be using to do my experiments, and then you're going to write them down, and which ones are the quickest and which ones are the slowest. That's what we're going to do today. I'm going to do the whole thing with you. If you want to take a photograph of this, you can, or if you just want to fill in the template that I've attached on Seesaw, you can do that as well. So we're going to start with no material, and to make it a fair test, you're going to place your thing that rolls in the same position each time. So for my car, every single time the back wheels are going to be against the sofa, and I'm not going to push it down, I'm just going to let it fall, okay, and see how long it takes. I'm looking at the clock behind the camera, so sorry about that. Okay, and I'm going to let it go down. So the second that I let it go, I look up there and I see how long it took. Okay, and I'm going to stop it when it gets to my foot. So when I feel it on my foot, I will see what time it says on there. It's not going to take very long at all, because it's quite a small area. If you have the ability to make it a longer area, then that's absolutely fine. So long as it's the same length each time, then it's okay. So I'm going to let it go. Brilliant. Okay, so that on that first one was really quick, and that was 0.87 on my clock behind. Now, it doesn't matter how long it takes, because you're just comparing them to each other, so long as it's the same distance. Now, my second one I'm using is this blue towel here. So as you can see, it's a little bit bumpy. Okay, but it's not really that bumpy. It's quite smooth. You wouldn't want it to be too rough if it was a towel. I'm going to cover the same distance. Now, as you know, you can see that this changes the distance ever so slightly, but but unfortunately we're just working with what we've got at home. I'm going to tuck that under there. So I'm going to try and make it as smooth as possible so that there's no one can say that, oh, I've cheated. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to do the same again, exactly the same, put my foot in the same place. Okay, but we're going to see what this one takes, all right? So let's give this a go. I'm looking at the clock behind you and, oh, that was a little bit longer. Oh, not much, but there was a difference. Okay, so that's my second one. You can see that there's a clear difference. If you think of this as 87 and 93, you can see there's almost 10 in it. Well, it's not, it's 5, it's hot. 6, sorry, beg your pardon. Gosh, I've not been at school for quite a while, you can tell. But you can see that there is a difference there, that it has changed it. So, my next material, now hopefully what we should see is we should be able to see a difference in all of them. So, I've made a little mark on the sofa where it's gone in, so I know which one it is. I'll off after. So my next one's going to be the blanket. Now the blanket, in addition to being bumpy, it's quite thick. Okay, so it's quite a thick blanket that I've got here. So I'm going to... Now I wonder, when you're covering each one, you can think in your head, you can predict, ooh, which one's going to... I'm not going to tuck that one, because otherwise it will change the distance significantly. And it will change the height. Hang on. There we go. Right then. So I can feel the end. So my foot's going to go on the end there. Again. Oh, it is thicker. Hang on. Let's push that back to that. There we go. Oh, Mr. Wilkinson's not going to be happy with that mark. I shall get some carpet cleaner on it. Okay, so we're going to start it here, again with the back wheels against the sofa. I'm going to let it go, and when it hits my foot, I'm going to look at the time. I'm going to stop it there. So it's going to... Oh, significantly longer. That's good. So we are 1.12 on that. Oh, there's a lot of difference in that one. You can, if you have a look at the materials, you can have a think about why it stopped. Why it's slowed it down so much quicker, and it's slowed it down so much quicker because it's so bumpy. It's not necessarily rough, but it's really bumpy. It's one of those teddy bear type blankets. So the fibres in it are quite thick and they're quite long, and they push against the wheels of your so you can hear Lola coming in. Again, oh dear, I've just broken it. Hang on. Oh my goodness, I do not know where that went. Oh no, I do. There, that's fine. Hello, are you okay? Are you happy, mummy? Are you gonna sit? Nope, that's all right then. I thought you were gonna sit right in front of it. Okay, so you can tell that the fibre. Oh my goodness, we're just gonna put that there and I'll fix it after. Mrs. Wilkinson breaking Mr. Wilkinson's things. Let's put it just there. Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, the fibres will hit the edge of the tyres, and that's what will slow it down. Okay, and there's quite a few fibres here, so that's why it's so, and you can see it's slowed it down quite significantly. The last one we're going to try, if Mrs. Wilkinson hasn't broken Mr. Wilkinson's car by the end of this, is going to be the rug. So that's going to be our final one, the rug. And I leave, Lola, do you want this blanket, sweetheart? We go. No, she does not. Well, you can have it there for a minute. Okay, so this is a rug. Now this is just a rug out of our hallway, but what it is, it's really, the fibres in it are so much longer than any of the other fibres on the towel, on the blanket. They're a lot rougher. So if I was predicting, I would expect this one, I could be wrong, I would expect this one to slow the car down the most, okay? We shall see. Now I am actually going to put these back on, only because in my head it will weigh less, and if it weighs less, I might change the speed. I doubt it, but oh gosh, I'm not very good at, hang on. Yes, I fixed it. Okie dokie, so I'm going to make it as, there we go, there's the end, put my foot against it. Okay, so we're looking for more than 1.2, but could be wrong, might say, there we go, okay. So I'm looking at the time. Not a huge amount. A little bit. But I mean, it's a little bit. So that was 1.14. Okay, so not a lot more at all. However, you can see there's a clear difference between the rug and no material. And you can see that there is a difference between, but you can see that with the fibres that would slow down here, and that force that's acting on it is called friction. And you will learn more about friction in year 3, but it's good to know that is called friction, and that's what it slows down. Friction is like when you a basic way of explaining it is when you rub your hands together as fast as you physically can, like this, you feel that heat, that's friction there. So try this now. There's one more thing. I know it's not on our board, but have a think about how we could make it go quicker than with no material. Now, we're back in a minute, but I think I have a trick that might make it go a little bit quicker. So bear with me a second. Now, if you're going to do this part, you definitely need to ask an adult. Don't just go doing this. Okay, but technically, if I was to spray something, now this is fry lined, it's more like an oil, some sort of liquid, something slippy. If you add it to your item with no material on, technically, your thing that rolls, which is Mr. Wilkinson's car, should go faster, okay? So I'm just going to, again, ask an adult, somebody to do this. Oh, I've just got it on the sofa. There we go, hang on. Okay, now technically it should go faster. It might not, but you never know. Okay, oil is good, but I'm not going to put oil on here with the sofa and the carpet. Okay, so I'm looking at the clock behind you again. Okay, so are we ready? Let's see, hang on. So when it hits my foot, I'll stop. Ready? Oh, only a bit. Not too much, but that's all right. So I'm just going to put a little sub one in here. I will put fry light because it's not oil. Is it fry light like that, or is it fry light as a split diagram? Hang on a minute. Oh, I've lost it. Oh, no, it is like that. I thought it might be fry light as a split diagram. But it's fry light there. It's not significantly more, but I mean, no, it is. Okay, it's almost 10. 8 more. Okay, so you can see that by changing the material, you can make it faster and slower. So have a go at filling in the template. You never know, you might want to do something more. If you've got access to a garden, this would be great to do in garden. So long as this height doesn't change here of where you're putting it, okay, and the distance doesn't change, you could have a go with all sorts of different materials. Please ask someone in your house. Don't just go borrowing things, but enjoy. See if you can find something that makes it maybe even double the no material. You never know, you could find something in your house. I haven't been able to, but you could find something in your house which significantly changes it. So, sorry, Lola's walking back and forth and it's wobbling the camera, I apologise. So have a go at this, fill in the template and see if you enjoy.